Starting up a quick stream because I just seen a video and I want to see what Buddy Ad got to say. He said, "Spider-Man, can Spider-Man defeat the Seven?" Let's see what Buddy Ad's talking about. Me personally, I think Spider-Man
Hey
not coming out of
everyone,
that one.
it's
I don't think Spider-Man coming out of that one.
Prof again, back again, doing another video. This time,
Hi guys, this is Ty Learned.
since Garo vs. the Seven is literally my most popular video ever, I wanted to do another Could They Solo the Seven, but this time with a more heroic character, that being Spider-Man.
Type shit.
Seeing as I know nothing about Spider-Man, I got the resident Spider-Man gamer expert, Ty Learned.
We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man versus the Seven.
Let me know
I'm
something.
excited, here to help spread the gospel about Spider-Man. Thanks Fiction for having me on.
For this video, we will be using Insomniac Spider-Man since he's kind of the most relevant one right now, and it's
Let
the
me
most
know.
interesting when it comes to this discussion when it comes to the actual power scaling. I will cover all of the boy scaling, and Tyler, like I already said, will cover pretty much all of the Spider-Man stuff, and then we'll break it down for you guys at the end and explain who would win. Scaling the boys universe has always been somewhat touchy. Homelander has always kind of been looked down upon as the trash version of evil Superman, basically
Oh, God.
a way weaker Omni-Man. And as much as I'd like to tell people they're wrong,
They're
I
not.
really can't.
They're
I've
not
discussed
wrong.
this in other videos, but most of the soups of the boys are considered above standard military weapons like tanks, missiles, and fighter jets. At the first confirmed appearance of a T-word soup, the US government has no choice but to sign a government contract.
I just mapped it up and they're pretty deep out there. So I hope it's not too late because they gotta work at 3:30. If I get there at 2:30, if we're all there at 2:30, there's no point in even sliding. But we're just gonna go with how it goes with the time.
Hold on, gang. Trying to set something up. Because if they gonna be out at church around 1:15, 1:30, if they ain't got nothing else to do today, they got about 3 hours, 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours of time. You got about an hour and a half, 2 hours of time. So, you know what I'm saying? Start your verse. By the time they get here, they can start their verse. Or whatever the case may be. Because I already have everything set up to where we won't spend no time setting everything up. Because I already suspected that nigga was going to be busy. So I didn't want to be scrounging for time. So everything is literally set up right now. I got the mat set up. I got the microphone set up. I got Manline open. I got beats ready. I already have everything set up to where we won't spend no time setting it up. Because I already suspected that niggas was gonna be busy. So I didn't want to be scrounging for time. So everything is literally set up right now. I got the mat set up. I got the microphone set up. I got Forgot. Had to handle some business. You know what I'm saying? Had to handle some business, man. We back though.
Act with Vought, as all their weapons have been made irrelevant. This same soup then gets off-screened and no-diffed by Black Noir. A modern M1 Abrams tank usually yields around 20 million joules, or enough to destroy small buildings or bunkers, which they do. Many high-tonnage naval weaponry can greatly exceed this as well, and this is pretty consistent with the feats displayed, as Naqib himself generated an explosion of 2.5 million joules, Maeve stopped a speeding armored truck, which I have also calculated at several million joules, and Lamplighter, a former member of the Seven, melted several objects with his flame-based ability, calculated at around 200 million joules.
That nigga got
For
that
those
flame
who are
with
not
him.
exactly sure what I'm saying with this whole joule thing,
Yeah.
don't worry too much about the exact numbers, but these levels of energy
It's
are
high.
generally considered
high.
enough to destroy small buildings. There is a statement from a Vought executive where she warns Butcher that Homelander has no weaknesses, and, quote, "There isn't a single weapon on Earth they haven't thrown at him. They've all failed." Many people, myself included, have taken this to mean Homelander can withstand getting hit by nuclear bombs, up to the likes of the SAR bomb, which has a yield of over 50 megatons of TNT, which would be more like
Damn.
200 quadrillion joules of energy. However,
Fuck.
this statement is extremely vague. The first question that arises to me is, who is they?
Who is
hitting
they?
Homelander with
Yeah.
every single weapon on Earth? Is it Vought? How does Vought, who can't even sign a military contract without literally gaslighting the entire planet, get a city-destroying nuclear bomb? Why would they use that bomb on Homelander? Is it the government? Who is it?
Maybe
We
it was
simply
just some
don't
fear
know,
talk.
and it brings up way too many questions with no real answer. It's also possible this executive was just trying to gaslight Butcher, as Vought likes to gas up their heroes.
Mm-hmm.
As an example, A-Train is said to regularly move at 1,000 miles an hour, but in that very same episode, in fact the very same scene, his top speed is recorded at 371 meters per second, and the announcer calls it a new record, meaning he's never actually been recorded running at over 1,000 miles per hour.
Right.
More reasonably,
It's a new record.
Homelander when he was younger
They
stood
be
near the center of
lying.
a large explosion which destroyed an entire
They're
chemical plant, which was
gaslighters.
calculated around 43 tons of TNT, or enough to destroy a city block. Most of the Seven generally don't move extremely quickly, however A-Train is consistently stated and shown capable at moving speeds around the speed of sound. Sometimes it's a little slower, sometimes it's a little faster. Some reference A-Train as reacting to Starlight's lasers, however these lasers actually move in slow motion compared to A-Train when he moves at a relative speed to them. Mind you, light moves at 300 million meters per second, which is almost 1 million times faster than A-Train's cannon, shown on screen, top running speed. Therefore, I find it somewhat dubious to actually say Starlight's beams move at the speed of light. Homelander does have a feat where he quickly saves Butcher from an explosion, which has been calculated around 10 to 18 times the speed of sound. However, there is one other possible feat, which is more impressive, but a little more vague. Homelander suggests he's been to space before, and in order to go to space, you actually need to travel fast enough to escape Earth's gravity. This speed is around 33 times the speed of sound.
If
I'll
he
say
did
Homelander
it.
could just be talking but
He could just
considering
be
his
talking
normal
shit.
feats are around a Mach 18, I find this slightly more believable than Homie dashing around at light speed.
Now, I've talked
Type
about
shit.
Insomniac scaling quite a few times, but for those on the Professor Fiction channel who aren't aware of how strong Spidey Yuri is, well, it's pretty cut and dry and easy to understand. Electro shoots Peter through a smokestack, which generated over 3.6 tons of TNT, or enough force to destroy large buildings, and Peter gets legit right up after this, so his
Damn.
durability should be higher than Electro's output. Peter also can just fight and beat up stronger opponents like Sandman, Venom, who both have calculations that get their attack potency ranging from the city block to even town levels of power. It's a little weird to say though, since Peter would probably lose to these two in a normal one-on-one setting, but we see his arms being able to absorb Miles' electricity, which could crystallize Sandman, which calculations have that ranging from around the multi-city block range. But in the final fight, Peter and Miles both have instances of getting the jump on Venom, though they mainly do this through teamwork. Miles as well is the same guy who was able to tank a nuke explosion, so regardless, Peter's AP by the
That
second
nigga
game
crazy.
should be significantly above
Miles
his first game
tanking
self,
nukes.
and he should be approaching those City Block 2 small town ranges in my opinion. As for speed,
Since
well, he
when
just
is Miles tanking nukes though? That's crazy.
dodges Electro on multiple occasions, with one of those times being damn near point blank, giving him massively hypersonic combat and reactions. But I think what this Spider-Man excels the most in isn't in his physical prowess, but rather his array of abilities. He can restrain you in all sorts of ways with his web gadgets and can utilize things like tasers or gravity bombs to incapacitate the opponent and leave them susceptible to attack. He can shoot concussive blasts, drones that do more damage than his own strikes, allowing him
Tight
to
shit.
commit mass genocide against your average burglar in Queens. Seriously though, it goes without saying that this version of Peter is a force to be reckoned with, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with a group of twisted heroes, that being the Seven, especially given since this version of Spider-Man has been Spider-Man for about like 11 years and is comfortable with fighting
Experienced.
groups of people.
So, based on the information me and Ty learned have already gone over, Spider-Man is kind of stomping here, just being honest.
Gonna cry?
What?
AP is definitely a debatable subject, as there's several calculations that put the boys' top tiers like Homelander and Maeve in that city block range, and some of Spider-Man's more mid-tier scaling is also in that range, but he also might scale a bit higher. Regardless though, nothing can save Homelander and the other members of the Seven from the absolutely atrocious speed gap.
Yeah, I mean, A-Train, who is literally a goat in speed, is like
That nigga-
scratching like early mocks, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the boys has like JJK author levels of buffoonery when it comes to speed scaling. Like, I'm pretty sure the highest stuff, well, not the highest, but at least the highest stuff regarding consistency is like Mach 10 to 20, which is literally over 100 times slower than Spider-Man's reaction and combat timing. And we already know the gap between Homelander and the other.
What?
members, so if we have someone who's already
Spider-Man
stronger
is
and 100
reacting
times
at Mach 1200?
faster, there is nothing this group can do. They are getting slammed like the Guardians of the Globe.
In terms of teamwork, all of the Seven kind of hate each other. The only people that I think probably could combo together effectively are like Maeve and Homelander. They seem to have history. They've probably fought together a couple times.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, with their personalities, like, they'll probably be, like, Queen Maeve is definitely gonna side with Peter, right? Like, yo, fuck this Homelander guy, like, come on now. And if you don't think the Seven kill each other before they can hit Spider-Man, or if you don't think Spider-Man is just gonna
Gito.
overwhelm them with his strength because that's not what he does in character, that's fine. What about literally the GTA weapon wheel of gadgets he has at his disposal, where he can electrocute them, use gravity bombs and make them just float in the
Okay.
air? Peter has so much
Yeah.
versatility going on,
But-
even when he's fighting Seven.
But would that blow the Seven back? You know what I'm saying? They seem like a pretty, like, Maeve is a standstill force, you know what I'm saying? How strong are these gadgets? Y'all didn't even go into that. But
and other people, he could
I'm
probably
not, and I want Spider-Man to win, but I want y'all to explain it in a way that makes sense.
just out-hacks them. Bro, do you wait, yo, Fiction, let's just change the video, bro. Why are we doing could Spider-Man like defeat the Seven? Can we do like, can Vulture solo the Seven, or like can Electro might actually just do it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I think a good way to sum up how this fight goes is just the fact that Spider-Man is just as strong as any member of the Seven. He's far faster, he's incredibly versatile and skilled, and in this case, he actually has many feats of team busting where
The
he fights
reaction
many
speed
villains at
is
the same
one
time.
thing.
So,
That shit is
yeah, honestly,
crazy.
this fight is not close at all. I just thought that this would be pretty fun to talk about, and it gave me a good opportunity to collab with my friend Ty Learned. If you guys go
They didn't. I don't think they went into enough detail, gang. What y'all niggas say? Let me know. I love these little animated videos. Niggas be talking about shit. They be dropping knowledge on niggas. I ain't gonna cap. Yo, let's see what was normal.
To get
back
started in
the day.
data
Let's see what niggas
analytics,
was
you don't
doing
need
back in
previous
the day.
experience
See what
or a
these
degree.
freaky
The
ass
Google
niggas-
Data
these
Analytics
fans was doing
certificate.
back in the
I'll
day.
start with the gross and end with the most disgusting
Let
hygiene.
me get a snack or something to drink real quick. There. La Apon, you know what I'm saying? All I drink at work too. Can't cop. Trying to quit sodas.
Practice in history. Number 1. Pig toilets. While this one may sound like something cute out of a cartoon, in reality, pig toilets were a nasty invention that originated in ancient China as a way to manage and recycle human waste. A pig toilet was a combination of a human toilet and pigsty. The basic model was as follows. An outhouse would be mounted on top of a pigsty with a tube or a chute connecting the two. As humans used the toilet, their waste would be directed down into the pigsty, where the pigs would then consume the feces as part of their usual diet.
That's pretty nasty.
Delicious. The digestive system
But I
of
know
pigs
they
allowed
like
them to
that
further
shit.
break down the waste, and then the waste of the pigs was able to be used as fertilizer. Other food was thrown into the
That's
sty as
nasty.
well. A balanced diet is essential after all, and pig
That's
toilets did
nasty.
prove to be effective in what they aimed to accomplish. They did,
It
however,
did seem effective, but let me know. Let
have
me,
their fair share of drawbacks.
Yeah, what was
there
it?
are the obvious ones, such as
Stank.
the horrific odor and the
Stank as
question
fuck.
of animal welfare.
I'm already knowing.
And then there are questions as to how effective the system could really be. If all of the human waste wasn't consumed, it could eventually contaminate groundwater and the surrounding environment. There was also the possibility of disease getting spread, as
Yep.
both the pigs and the humans using the pig toilets would constantly be in close proximity to the other's waste. There's
that's
even
nasty.
the possibility of parasitic infections causing a
Maggots
never-ending
and
chain.
shit.
Imagine a human picks up a parasite. They use the pig toilet, and the pig ingests human waste infected with the parasite. The pig is later killed and eaten, and the parasite
Yeah,
goes either
no,
back to
why-
the
Well, there's the fucking problem. There's the fucking problem. Why are you eating the fish you shitting in? If it was effective, why are you eat? That's the just cut them out.
original host or onto a new one.
I'm not
The
saying I
circle
would
of
do
life,
this. I'm
it
just
truly
saying
moves
this
us all.
seemed
While advances in
effective
sanitation and
to
modern
them.
waste management have led to pig toilets falling out of widespread use, these things have been found in areas of Asia as recently as the early 2000s. I, for one, just have so many questions. Do the pigs know what's really going on? Do they enjoy
course
it?
they don't.
Do they get excited when they see someone walk into that outhouse? Anyways, I'm already grossed out, and this list is just getting started. Number 2. Wigs. Now, most people know that wig wearing was extremely common in the olden days, particularly in the 17th and 18th centuries in Europe. What most people don't know is the fact that these wigs were almost never washed and were frequently a breeding ground for lice and other crawly pests. They were usually worn daily,
You
so
niggas
as
are
part of your morning
nasty.
routine, you would wake up, get dressed, and plop what was essentially a lice nest onto your head, where it would stay for the rest of the day. Wigs were popular for many reasons in Europe during this time period. They offered a solution for people who suffered from hair loss, often due to diseases like syphilis, giving them an opportunity to present a sweet hairdo and convince the maiden they brought home from the tavern that they were totally clean, madame. They also let people present different, fancy hairstyles without having to wash or alter their own hair, which was rare in those days. As natural hair was rarely washed, it's not a huge leap to learn that wigs were rarely washed as well. As a
Yeah.
result, they became an absolute
Stupid ass
playground
niggas.
for lice. There were other factors at play too. Wigs were fitted extremely close to the scalp, and the dark, warm environment acted as a mood-setting sauna for the lice to relax in and reproduce. What's more, wigs were sometimes made with animal hair, specifically horsehair, and lice already present on the horses could
Yeah,
easily be
you're
transferred over directly to the person wearing the
Niggas were
wig.
not in the know
Lastly,
back
in a
the
somewhat
day.
ironic twist, perfumed powders were often used to cover up the odors that would inevitably arise from heavily used wigs. The scents in the perfume would attract more bugs. I get maybe you don't have time to scrub it with shampoo or anything, guys, but you could at least, I don't know, rinse it out in a river every once in a while.
Gee.
Number 3, urine as a facial cleanser. We've all been there. You wait.
But you remember us niggas, we brought that shit over, that shower and shit. We brought that shit over here. They ain't know nothing about it. They ain't know nothing about it.
Wake up, head to the bathroom, and realize you're out of Neutrogena. But you have sensitive skin and a huge meeting at the end of the week, so you can't afford to break out, and you don't have time to run to the CVS. The answer? Easy. Rub some of your urine all over your face. Using urine as a facial cleanser is a practice that, shockingly, has been present in numerous cultures for centuries, from medieval Europe to China to ancient Rome. This wasn't a one-off thing. This was a widespread practice that transcended borders.
What the science is showing us is the universe appears to be alive, it appears to be conscious.
Near-death experiences are some of the strongest evidence we have that there is life after death.
In medieval Europe, urine was used as a facial cleanser simply because many people didn't have access to fresh water and perfumes.
Bruh. Y'all don't want me to start talking about that life after death shit, bro. Hey, boy, I'll get my aluminum foil hat, man, about 10 cup. We'll get on it, man. What? 'Cause, boy, it's just too, you know what I'm saying? It's too perfect.
What's the closest thing to perfumed water? The obvious answer is piss. In ancient China, the history of using urine is a little different. In addition to being used cosmetically, urine was a component of traditional Chinese medicine, seen as having properties and elements that helped regulate balance in the body. The Romans believed that the ammonia content in urine acted as a cleansing agent,
Wait,
so they
what-
used
what are we
Chinese
talking
medicine. Is piss. Perfume is used. This was a widespread practice to China, shockingly, all over your face, and to run to the sea. Huge gap. Number 3, urine as a facial cleanser.
I knew I missed something. I knew I missed something.
We've all been there. You wake up, head to the bathroom, and realize you're out of Neutrogena. But you have sensitive skin and a huge meeting at the end of the week, so you can't afford to break out, and you don't have time to run to the CVS. The answer? Easy. Rub some of your urine all over your face.
Talk to me, gang. This what we doing? I'm talking about before all of this like facial cleansing shit, bruh.
Using urine as a facial cleanser is a practice that, shockingly, has been present in numerous cultures for centuries, from medieval Europe to China to ancient Rome. This wasn't a one-off thing. This was a widespread practice that transcended borders. In medieval Europe, urine was used as
So like grand folks was doing this, bruh. On my white side. My great grand folks and shit was doing this.
as a facial cleanser simply because many people didn't have access to fresh water and perfumes. What's the closest thing to perfumed water? The obvious answer is piss. In ancient
Is it?
China, the history of using urine is a little different. In addition to being used cosmetically, urine was a component of traditional Chinese medicine.
I'm getting goosebumps hearing this shit, bro. Cringing. I'm cringing.
Seen as having properties and elements that helped regulate balance in the body. The Romans believed that the ammonia content in urine acted as a cleansing agent, so they used their own urine to clean not only their face, but also their clothes and even their floors. I mean, it's pretty hilarious to imagine a Roman going about their daily chores. They wake up,
The niggas, bro. If I was Jesus and my people didn't do this, bro, and these niggas was trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say if I was Jesus, but if I was like getting crucified by these Roman niggas for something, you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna, you know, go down lightly, go down silently, take it on the chin. Nah, that's not me. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell y'all ass. Yeah, these Roman niggas, yeah. These Roman niggas, they, my fault, gang. These Roman niggas, they be washing their face, they washing their clothes with piss. Yeah, they pissy, yeah. They get done after a long day of goddamn colonizing and tyranny. They shower up and piss, man. Yeah. Y'all learn about them.
relieve themselves into their hands, rub the urine on their face, toss a load into the laundry machine, take a leak in there, and then as a cherry on top, just unload one more time all over the kitchen floor. I just hope they were keeping hydrated. The craziest part? While common people usually use their own urine for these purposes, the wealthy elite use the urine from common urinals. Rubbing your own
Not just their own. Y'all cousins too. Not just their own, but yours. Romans, people of Rome. Not just theirs. The rich, they take it out of the urinal and they put it on themselves. A mix of your urine. Y'all don't think that's okay? I mean, my fault. Not okay. My fault. But y'all don't think that's weird? Y'all don't think that's weird?
urine on your face is one thing, but the urine of a stranger? Nah, count me out. The human body is an amazing thing, and as a part of all of its functions, it creates waste. At what point did we decide that using our waste as soap helped keep us clean? I just wish I was in the room when people were having these discussions. Next thing you know, we'll be gargling our urine as mouthwash. Number 4, urine as mouthwash.
This nigga's funny. This nigga's hilarious.
I guess I spoke too soon. Turns out urine was used as more than just a cleaner. There's evidence of not only our old pals, the ancient Romans and Chinese, using urine as a way to clean the mouth, but also the French during the 18th century, and even some ancient Indian cultures. The idea was that since urine was widely believed to be sterile and antiseptic, a myth that has since been disproven by scientific studies, it would not only kill germs and bacteria in the mouth, but the ammonia and other compounds would whiten teeth as well. So when those wealthy Roman elites went to the public urinals to scoop out buckets of urine for their cleaning cupboard, they snuck an extra bottle into their bathroom to rinse with before bed. The Roman philosopher Seneca was a known proponent of this. Ah, Seneca, the speaker of such deep truths as, "We suffer more than in imagination than in reality." But let's not forget the lesser known but equally powerful saying, "I love to gargle my own piss." The ancient Chinese and Indians at least had the decency to add herbs and other substances into the mix to improve the experience. But the Romans and the Europeans usually decided to take it straight with no chaser. If you're gonna do it right, I guess. It's also important to note that across all cultures, human urine was not always the go-to. In ancient Indian medicine, they opted for cow urine on account of the religious and cultural significance of cows in Hinduism. To most Hindus, especially
least they
those in
had
ancient times,
religious
the cow
reasons.
is seen as a sacred animal, and its various byproducts, not only urine but also dung, have long been used in medicinal, religious, and agricultural practices. In some areas of India, the use of cow urine as a mouthwash is still common today. Number 5.
Piss me
Mouse
off,
brain
young man.
toothpaste. Seriously, man, what's
Piss
with
me
these
off, young
Romans?
man.
Apparently, the Romans in general were very particular about their dental care, and they crafted toothpaste from a variety of different materials and substances. Among some of the ingredients they used were charcoal and ash, crushed up oyster shells and bones, and different flavorings like mint, honey, and myrrh. And let's
niggas
not
just
forget
be
the old
putting
standby,
anything on the
human
teeth.
urine. Okay, seriously, with all the stuff the Romans used urine for, you have to wonder if there was just one super pervert who was out there spreading all of this misinformation. But let's not get sidetracked from the main event here. Crushed up mouse brains were thought to improve the effectiveness of the toothpaste and help freshen breath. Because nothing says fresh breath like brains and urine. Why not throw in some garlic and boiled egg for good measure? The brains, along with whatever other delightful ingredients these twisted people decided to use, would be ground up into a fine powder and then combined with some sort of binder, often honey, to form into a
think that was
paste.
the ice,
The thing
bro.
is, as crazy and disgusting as all of this seems, the Romans actually had pretty great teeth compared to other people during this period of time. As one can probably imagine, bad
Damn.
breath, toothaches, and cavities were widespread issues in ancient times when not many people had the means or the wherewithal to properly clean their teeth. So while the actual ingredients that the Romans used are pretty gnarly on paper, there's evidence that their dental hygiene practices were very effective. When
Damn.
human skeletons were excavated from the ruins of Pompeii and Herculaneum, only 1/3 of the remains showed missing teeth, and very few had any evidence of cavities. I'm not saying I'm going to try it
Damn.
myself anytime soon, but it seems like maybe the Romans were actually onto something with this one.
Amazon is overcharging you, but I can show you how to avoid it.
Damn.
Don't spend another
That's
dime on
pretty
Amazon
nasty. That's-
until you
that's
watch.
Still pretty nasty. I ain't gonna lie, but at least it was effective. They snapped. The last one is really gross, and you may want to click away. Hey man, there's 2 minutes left in the 3 minutes left in the video. If you ain't, you know what I'm saying, just look away. Just look away and listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm a look away and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna look away and I'm gonna listen. All right, I'm gonna turn around. We're and we gonna turn around and we gonna listen. All right.
Number 6. Crocodile dung contraceptive. You're getting home from a night at Club Pyramid, and you've picked up one of the hottest girls you've ever seen. You bring her back to your place, and she asks if you have a condom. In a panic, you realize you don't. Don't worry, she says. I got some crocodile shit with me. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to practice safe sex as much as the next guy, but it feels like the ancient Egyptians were really reaching here. In the Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest and most extensive medical texts in the history of ancient Egypt, there are descriptions of several different types of contraceptives, usually either with the goal of creating a barrier between the sperm and the uterus, or making the uterus an inhospitable environment for sperm in the first place. The women of ancient Egypt unfortunately got the short end of the stick here, and as a result, they were the ones who had to insert various substances inside themselves for the purpose of avoiding pregnancy. Some of the ingredients used were honey, cotton seeds, gum, soaked linens, and even fresh citrus juice. I mean, I don't need to have to know that squeezing a lime directly in there cannot feel very good. Undoubtedly the least
That shit, nah, bro. That shit don't even sound right, gay. That shit don't even sound right, gay. You know what I'm saying?
Hygienic and most unpleasant sounding of all the contraceptives mentioned in the Ebers Papyrus is the use of crocodile dung.
That's so
The
nasty.
dung was mixed with a fermented dough made of water and plant materials and was inserted into the to serve as a barrier. Why the Egyptians thought it was a good idea to insert animal waste directly into one of the most sensitive parts of the body, we may never know. But it's believed that crocodile dung was chosen because of its plentiful availability, and also because of the religious and cultural significance of crocodiles in Egyptian culture, similar to the Hindus and the cows from before. Perhaps even more confusing than the use of the dung is its combination with fermented dough. What's all that about? Was it just something that the first doctor had lying around the house? Did he over-ferment his sourdough, then just think, well, I can't just waste it and throw it out? While the decision to include the bread dough is not super clear from historical texts, it may have been used primarily for its texture and consistency. When mixed with the dung, it created a paste that was thick enough to serve as a barrier contraceptive, but also moldable and soft enough to get up in there in the first place. Aside from the fact that this method was most likely not very effective in preventing pregnancy, it was also pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
The insertion of animal dung carried significant health risks, potentially introducing harmful bacteria and pathogens into the reproductive tract, leading to infection, causing inflammation, irritation, and the spread of harmful bacteria to other areas of the body. Sure,
So nasty.
some guys hate condoms, but this was a contraceptive that was not enjoyable for anyone.
Hey man, if you stuck with me thus far, like, comment, and subscribe. We done, man.
Yeah, I hope they're ready at a good time though, because I just mapped it up and they're pretty deep out there in Ellington. So I hope it's not too late because they got work at 3:30. If I get there at 2:30, if we're all there at 2:30, there's no point in even sliding. But we're just gonna go with how it goes with the time.
All right, man. Let's see what this nigga
Your
talking
child
about. He
needs
be
these
saying some
3 key
interesting
factors to get
things.
into an Ivy League or top 25.
We've had to talk about death a lot in the past few years, whether it's referring to the number of casualties in a war or as the number of victims of a virus. Although we primarily discuss it within the context of our society, we understandably still keep death at arm's length. This is a coping mechanism to keep us going. If we dwell on the thoughts of our morality too much, it can consume us and prevent us from going about our daily lives. What is the point of life if it all just simply ends? When we sit with the prospect of our own end, it often
Ask
fills us
myself
with
this once a
anxiety.
week, man.
It overwhelms us with questions about the prospect of finality. What happens when your brain shuts down? Will it be a heavenly release or will it feel more like torture? Is it nothingness, and if it is, what does that even feel like? We don't have any experience of this potential nothing to draw on. Most of us wish deep down that we could just go on. We hope that there's some kind of experience after death. We want our consciousness to continue in the same way. We don't want to be separated from loved ones for eternity. But is there any connection between our intense desire to go on and some spiritual truth? Is there life after death? In recent decades, how we think about consciousness and dying from a scientific perspective has changed significantly. New research on what happens when you die has challenged many assumptions about our notion of death. When your life ends, your heart stops beating and your lungs stop working. Your brain is no longer receiving oxygen and normal brain activity stops. You are technically dead. But people have survived past this point. According to several studies, 1 in 10 people claim to have had a conscious experience while they were non-responsive. We call them near-death experiences because we believe that what is truly dead will remain dead. In reality, at least according to all our current definitions of the
Right.
concept, it would be more accurate to describe these as back-from-death experiences. Semantics aside, these are remarkably similar among those who recall them after resuscitation. They often involve visions of traveling through a tunnel. Some claim to have had an out-of-body experience or see their whole life flash before their eyes. They meet spirits or familiar persons that speak with them. Many report a strong sense of peacefulness and ease, which should bring comfort to those of us who are particularly anxious about death. But what exactly is going on in that dying brain? If a person flatlined, they shouldn't be aware of anything at all. Is it possible they're experiencing consciousness without a functioning brain? If you struggle with your own morality to the point where it's getting in the way of your living, then I highly recommend you consider
Mortality.
seeing a therapist. Therapy can help you make peace with your morality and help to ease the anxiety that comes with thinking about death. If you don't know where to start, you should check out BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video. BetterHelp's goal is to make connecting with a highly experienced therapist as easy as possible. To get started,
I'ma
you
trust
simply
that
have to
Betty
answer a few
ass is
questions
quick.
and you'll get matched with a therapist in as little as a few days.
Let's look her.
The therapist they pick for you will have tons of experience dealing with whatever you're going through. Every single one of their therapists is licensed, has a master's or doctorate, a professor of neurology at Michigan State University, studied the record of electrical activity in the brains of women who were just taken off life support. What she discovered is changing how we all think about the dead. Her findings? Death shouldn't be considered at a point in time, but rather a process. The organs don't immediately fail, the heart can be restarted and full brain function can return. The dying process
type
is sometimes
shit.
reversible. Hours after someone has been pronounced clinically dead, they can, in rare circumstances, be resuscitated. These instances are not a divine miracle, just a result of death being a much slower process than we think. In one infamous 2008 case, 59-year-old Velma Thomas was clinically dead for 17 hours.
Damn.
10 minutes after being taken off a ventilator
Don't
with her
tell me
body
she
being
came
prepped
back.
for organ removal for transplantation, she woke up. She was alert and immediately asked for her son. The claim up until recently has been that there's no brain activity between cardiac arrest and resuscitation. Or the period after someone flatlines.
Crazy, bro.
For near-death experiences to take
17
place, they have to
hours.
happen in this period. There has to be a conscious experience. When Borjagen
Right.
looked at a dying brain, she saw that it was surging with high-frequency electrical signals, known as gamma waves. The areas in the brain associated with consciousness were incredibly lively. When oxygen was cut off, the brain waves synchronized in a way usually associated with heightened attention and memory. Areas of the brain that are active when we're conscious and awake were communicating with areas connected to memory formation. One hypothesis is that the system that filters different brain functions goes offline when a person is dying, giving them access to their entire consciousness all at once. This would explain why people often see their lives flash
Damn.
before their eyes and remember things that happened when they had no active memory. Do you remember everything from your toddler years? That's what we're talking about here. So what does this say about the brain and consciousness? Does this new insight suggest that the physical brain isn't necessary for a conscious experience, or that the brain is just very resilient when it comes to oxygen deprivation? It could just be the body's attempt to keep itself going for as long as possible, in case the heart and lungs resume functioning again. There's a lot more to be discovered about consciousness and the dying brain as the scientific horizons of its functionality continue to evolve. For now, there's one thing we should start doing differently for those who are pronounced dead. It's something you might be compelled to do anyway in a state of grief. When we sit with the dead, we should speak to them.
Right.
How to get the most of Grammarly free.
It's Kayla on behalf of Grammarly to tell you all.
We know that there's brain activity after cardiac arrest and that the mind potentially has some awareness of the space around it. Patients who have been resuscitated sometimes describe out-of-body experiences and are able to detail things around them they wouldn't have had access to while in a conscious state. They hear what those around them have been saying. In one instance, a woman described a shoe placed on a nearby window ledge that she wouldn't have been able to see from her hospital room. If we speak to the dead, they may be able to hear us. I think there's something comforting about the idea of sending a last message to your loved one, even if they're unable to respond in kind. It's not always possible to be in the room when someone important to us dies. You could consider it an opportunity
Right.
to say something important you never got a chance to tell them. But what do you say exactly? Do we tell them we love them? Do we share memories? Do we show strength or weakness? Should we be philosophical or spiritual? You may have heard of Bardo Thodol, otherwise known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's a popular text about the experience of dying
Nah,
from a
gang.
Buddhist perspective, specifically Tibetan Buddhism. It's a book like no other for one obvious reason. It's intended to be read to those who have passed on. It's also meant to be read in advance to prepare oneself for death. The myth surrounding the text is that it was written in the 8th century by a Buddhist mystic named Amunsumava. He didn't write anything down himself. He dictated the book to a princess, Yeshi Sokol, who is believed to be the first Tibetan to achieve enlightenment. As the story goes, Padmasambhava didn't believe that the book was right for his time, so he hid the text in a cave in Tibet. He prophesied that it would be discovered 500 years later, and in 1341, a boy named Karma Lingpa found it by following instructions from a dream he had the night before. It was a dark time in history as the Black Death swept across Asia and Europe, making the text highly relevant. The Tibetan Book of the Dead promises that death isn't just the end of consciousness, but an opportunity. During the period after death, reciting the text is intended to give the deceased a more favorable rebirth. This isn't a life filled with riches, but one that's more conducive to ending the cycle of rebirth and achieving nirvana. In Tibetan Buddhism, the cycle of birth, suffering, death, and then rebirth is endless unless we do something about it. We need to become Buddha-like to liberate ourselves. This involves ending the primary sources of suffering within us, those being craving and clinging. Through living ethically and training the mind like the Buddha, we can put an end to craving, clinging, and ultimately our suffering. We become like the Buddha and the end cycle of rebirth. And if we don't nail Buddhahood in this life, there's always the next one. About 15 years ago, 4-year-old Ryan Hammonds would spend hours directing imaginary movies in his room. He was a creative and imaginative boy. Around the same period in time, Ryan would get night terrors. He'd wake up clutching his chest, claiming that his heart burst in a dream that took place in, of all places, Hollywood. Shortly after some of these night terrors, Ryan claimed something extraordinary. He told his mother that he used to be someone else. He had a white house with a pool in Hollywood. Ryan insisted that he had 3 sons but was very distressed when he couldn't remember their names. Ryan insisted that he had 3 sons but was very distressed when he couldn't remember their names. His mother grabbed some books about Hollywood from the library filled with pictures from film productions, and flipping through the pages, the boy recognized a man, immediately referring to him as George. He was right about the name. The man Ryan pointed to was an actor named George Raft, a forgotten movie star from the 1930s. Ryan also pointed to another man near George, and with excitement, Ryan insisted that he had found himself. He found the man he used to be. With the help of University of Virginia psychologist Jim Tucker, the family identified
the man he used to be, bro. I honestly don't remember nothing. I'm not supposed to remember nothing. But what if I am supposed to remember something? You know what I'm saying? What if there's a point, and I feel like I recently have been going up. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna get into all that.
The man in the photo as Martin Martin. They were able to confirm that he did have 3 sons as well as a daughter. The daughter agreed to meet Tucker and Ryan, where they were able to confirm numerous other details about his life, such as his career dancing in New York and his work as a Hollywood agent. There are thousands of documented stories of kids roughly between the ages of 2 and 5 claiming to remember their past lives. On numerous occasions, children and their parents have been able to confirm the identity of their supposed past life and many details of their memories. Cases are stronger than others. This phenomenon has been studied mostly by a small group of psychologists led by Tucker's 20 years of experience and 2,500 cases. While they have the evidence that this hints towards the validity of the claims, they can't exactly prove reincarnation either. Tucker made a rough hypothesis on how reincarnation could be explained using quantum physics.
Lemonade, pet, insurance. 3
Alright, but this nigga did not join. In the church? Oh, you out?
No, not yet. Can you give me a sec, bro?
Oh, I wasn't. Alright.
Bro, I almost went all the way to a Bradenton ad.
words you've probably never heard used together. A drink.
Tucker suggests that the material world may be derived from consciousness. This would suggest that consciousness doesn't require a world to exist, or a living brain, it could continue after death onto the brain of another mind. A problem with this theory is that the observer effect doesn't require consciousness to alter the observation. Making the leap to suggest that the world could be dependent on consciousness would need more evidence. It's only fair to treat the notion of past lives with skepticism.
I don't see that.
It seems unlikely that these are elaborate hoaxes, as the adults involved don't really get anything out of it by coming forward. Most of the families are also reluctant to seek help to begin with and wish to remain anonymous.
I think it's one process.
It's impossible to say how far wishful thinking can drive things such as these. The truth is, we're drawn to the idea of consciousness continuing because we fear its permanent end. It's just so hard for us to grasp a life without a perspective. Non-existence makes little sense to an existing being. As exciting as the idea of rebirth is, it still doesn't give relief to the heaviest burden of death: separation. Even if there is some truth to the stories of past lives, the burden of death is still heavy. We ultimately have to say goodbye. Our clinging to others inevitably leads to pain. When the children who remember past lives get older, they tend to move on from these memories. They bring them up less and less, and eventually, they forget them. When Ryan met the daughter of Martin Martin, he was struck with how her energy had changed. He became quite shy around her. After their meeting, Ryan was less interested in his past life. In the Tibetan Book of the Rebirth isn't intended to excite us with the prospect of more life, but the possibility of escaping it. Regardless of what perspective you view life, death is an opportunity. Think about the life you want to flash before your eyes in your final moments, and live that life today.
That's how I feel,
if you like the video,
that's how I feel. Think about the life you want and live that shit, bro. Live it, nigga. What? You can? Gee, pass me the za. Pass me the za. Fuck therapy. Pass me the za. Fuck is you talking about? That's too long a vid. I ain't gonna cap. Better help isn't what you think. Damn. Just trying to expose. Hey, Pookie. Yeah, right. I told you she was a bop. I should have listened to you, gang. What is this shit, bro?
Words that we need to stop saying. These words are annoying, and man, they need to be banned or something. Like, these words are embarrassing, and like, since every time I hear these words, I'm like, oh man, like, come on. Like, this is just cringe. And starting off with Pookie. Oh, my Pookie. Oh, what's wrong with you? Whoever came up with this word, man, they need to get a life sentence in prison, because I'm sick of this word. And it's mostly females using this word, because like, if you're a guy calling your homies Pookie, everyone will be like, hey, boy, that's kind of sus. Now for the word Riz. Man, it's crazy that this word got added to the Oxford Dictionary.
Actually got to get out of here.
A couple YouTubers, you know what I'm saying?
My girl be at work talk about Riz it and let it mew.
The GOAT himself, Duke Dennis, no glazing though.
No glazing though.
And it got added to the Oxford Dictionary. Like, this is crazy. I talked about Riz in my Leave It in 2023 video, but I'm bringing it up again because, man, this word has been rinsed. Oh, I've got Riz. Nigga, you ain't Duke Dennis.
Rinsed. He said this shit was rinsed.
No girls, bro. You get no girls, and we all know it. There's no reason to lie, like, all the time, bro. Like, man, we know girls don't like you, and you're always lying about your body count, my nigga. I know you got 0 bodies, because the stories everyone's heard about you, it sounds like you got negative Riz. When girls pull up your face,
hey, don't say it now.
Like, bro, chill. Like, the girl ain't gonna bite you, and the girl you like, bro, she doesn't know you exist. Man, she walks straight past you and go to another man, and now you cry and listen to Blonde by Frank Ocean on repeat. Now for the word, hey, oh my god sis, you look stunning. "Oh sis, you ate this fit up. Oh my god, you look so good." Or "You ate it up." When girls comment this underneath each other's posts saying, "Oh my god, damn sis, you ate," it's like, yeah, we get it. You know, you eaten very well. Now for the word glazing. Man, this word in its prime was Hall of Fame. Funny, it was good, you know what I'm saying? Every time your homie says something, and like everyone used to violate the homie, saying he's glazing. But then people started using it way too much and way out of line.
Oh God.
You can't even say something nice to your friend like, "Hey, you know, you got a fresh haircut."
Glazing.
Or "You glazing."
You glazing.
Or "Boy, you dress good.
Get off his knee.
Man, you look really nice." Or "You glazing." Far. How'd you make that shot other day in basketball practice? Or "You glazing."
That crossover was mean as hell. Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing? What? No, you right. I was dick riding. That's what I'm saying, bro. You gotta calm down with that shit. Yeah, my fault. Yeah. That was an okay shot right there, though. Oh my God, bro. Is dick riding all you do? No, I'm saying you literally got that nigga dick in your mouth right now. I see it.
No one compliments anyone anymore. It's crazy. Like, you can't even tell the homie, you know, something nice about him. Yeah, you have to tell him in private. Because if you don't, you'll get violated. Saying, "Oh, you glazing." Now, think about the word glazing now. I'm going to have to do a video about the most
only time you hear a compliment from a nigga is one-on-one situation. Nah, that is glazing shit done started.
glazed men, you know, the most glazed people on the internet right now. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like a crazy ass name, but I don't know. Like, this topic just came into my mind right now doing this video, so stay tuned for that. You know, I'm about to cook something up. Now for side eye. No way you're going to someone, or when someone does something strange, you will side eye them and say the word side eye. You are very cringe, because I'm going to look back at you and be like, "Bro, what are you doing?" Shit, I might even slap the shit out of you for doing that cringe shit. Before TikTok, people used to say side eye all the time, but once they reach TikTok, man, this got really cringe. Anything that reaches TikTok just becomes cringe, to be honest. Like, TikTok, man, it just ruins everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Glazing.
Hold on. It's supposed to be like something with like they search up my name and then like call me. Well, yeah, you just go through the main entrance on that side, yeah. Put it in. It's gonna maybe it'll ask you my name and then it'll call me. So just say Devon Cheese. I don't know, man. Nah, it's not up there. It's not up there. The stream started already over on this side. I was doing some reactions.
Wait, you live right now?
Yeah.
Chat was good, man.
Yes, sir. I don't know anybody in here for real. I don't think anybody in the chat for real.
Damn, bruh.
Yeah. Fucko was going crazy. I don't know if you saw the video, but I had the goddamn.
I know you had all these cases though.
Gee, that bitch is tough.
Yeah,
I had to set up. That's the Spider-Man shit at the top.
Spider-Man.
This
Oh
is-
yeah, those Spider-Man's tough.
Yeah. And then that's some of our shit.
That's tough.
But this nigga talking about words that can't be said.
Who?
Some random nigga on here.
Oh.
He low key yapping, but not really.
Are you on Twitch or YouTube?
I'm on both. I paid for this shit, but I got a low key end that now. Oh yeah, I got a Wi-Fi.
Money connected to that. Is it homegrown guest?
You could connect to guest, but we got a resident too.
Alright, but let me connect to the residence probably better. Yo, what is it? 1 bedroom, 1 bath?
Yeah. And yeah, we in the kitchen / living room.
Alright.
I'm gonna try to make this X-Men, but she got She-Hulk over here.
In a dress is crazy.
Yeah.
Did y'all make this? Is this Lego? Oh no.
It's a fun. They got the 8-bit now. Like they got most of the X-Men '97 8-bit.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. You can low key walk your ass down to Chili's though.
That's what it's gonna take it's a 20-minute walk.
Yeah, or if you had like a bike or something. I saw that one girl with she has like an electric scooter she take there.
Yeah. That bitch will not stand up for real.
Damn, his head.
That's why damn.
Yeah. You got a fat ass head.
But I have to set me up some scenes. See what this fuck nigga talking about.
Pass me this out. Let me see what it's about.
Right? I used to side eye
This
black
mic
people.
is
Wait,
crazy.
I'm black by the way. But
a
yeah,
W
I used to
mic.
side eye them in public when I saw them out in public making black people look bad. Like walking in
Where's
a
the
store,
chair?
fighting in the middle of the shopping center.
gotta do
I'm
that
just standing
to
looking at
see
them
it.
like, bruh, this is going to make the news and make black people look bad. Or black people causing trouble again. And it's like, bruh, it's like I'm watching a South Park episode. Now for the word get. I talked about this in Leaving in 2023 video, but man, it didn't get left in 2023. And I'm surprised this word ain't even make the Oxford Dictionary list with the word Riz. Man, TikTok ruined this word. Guys used to be such a good